Hello and welcome to Intentional Aurelia. Today we're going to look at my journal system, right? So if you're in the journal community, you know that there's been loads and loads of videos about my journal ecosystem and how my journal system works for me. And I just wanted to share mine because I don't think mine is super different from everyone else, but maybe someone will watch this and take something away from it. So we're going to be working on the core and orbit system, and let's see if you enjoy it. So we're going to start with three, which are three different books for writing, right? Which is my head, heart, and soul. And let's get into it. Right, so let's get into it. I need three journals, and each journal represents a different aspect of who I am, right? So in my brain, this is what it looks like. This is me. I need one journal for my heart, one journal for my brain, and one journal for my soul. However, I also need other journals that fit into the orbit. So this is my core, right? This is the core. This that you're looking at here are the journals in orbit. And the journals in orbit represent other journals that are not necessarily what I need every day, but that exist for when I need them. And then I bring them out. Right. This is the core. These are the three journals that I need on a semi-regular, let's say daily basis, if not daily, then definitely weekly basis to function as a proper human in society. And we're going to start with this. This is the bullet journal, and the bullet journal is the head. Then we're going to get into heart, and to the heart is the writing journal, which leaves my soul, which is the commonplace journal. So obviously, the bullet journal is different for everyone, and there are so many videos that are out on YouTube that you can look at. But my bullet journal is extremely personal. There's a lot of information that comes into here, but basically, I need my bullet journal to work as a second brain. I don't use Notion. I don't work in any real digital platform. Everything is analog. So I use this space to capture everything, right? Period tracking, any other illnesses, my bingo for the year, birthdays and things that I need to remember throughout the year. And then things like when did I last, goals, finances, anything that I feel is important. These are things that are my homestead page, which is when did I last, and it could be anything. So I use this really to capture all data and statistics on a weekly and a monthly basis. So if we had to look at, for example, let's look at June. June is not yet ready, right? June's empty, so I can show you June, right? It looks like this. There'll be a cover page. Then I have an overview of what the month looks like. It just gives me a space to see what the month looks like physically, right? How many weeks there are, when it starts, when it finishes, any public holidays, birthdays that I need to fill in. And then we look at the dashboard. The dashboard is birthdays, intentions, tasks, a reflection area. The line a day is my gratitude. Because I struggle with my mental health, I need somewhere to focus on the highlights of the day, right? So you can see habits. You can see I track a lot of habits because I need to be able to see with what frequency I'm doing things. Obviously, some people use apps on their phone. I prefer to have everything digital. I mean, not digital, analog, right? So I really use this space for everything. And without this, I would not really be able to function. I've been doing proper journaling, bullet journaling since 2021, really, 2020, 2021. And it works really, really well, right? Obviously, it's a place for creativity as well. You can see that I like to play, but mostly this is my second brain. Okay, let's put that there. Coming into my writing journal, another extremely personal journal, so I don't want to go into too much detail of what's in here, but really my writing journal, this journal is for stats, figures, facts. This here is feelings, emotions, journal prompts, and basically I just write whatever I need to write. Okay, you can see there's a lot of stickers because I've been trying and experimenting with stickers in this journal, but I use it really as an outlet like therapy. Then coming into my final, let's leave it like this. Okay. Into my my commonplace notebook. This is the most recent edition in the core journals that I use. I started using this one last year, so this is the end of 2023, beginning of 2024, right? And what I've been using this book for is everything else. It's not a junk journal, it's not a writing journal, and it's not a bullet journal. It's really just everything else that doesn't fall into its own category, right? So let's look at some stuff. I started playing the video game Oblivion and I wanted to keep stats. I have this really cute mobile phone game that you get pictures in when you reach a part of the game. I played Veil Guard and I wanted to print out some pictures. All right, so it's really just a place for beaches that I visited this year, private classes that I do. Um, things that have been going on this year. It's really just a place of all the extras. The commonplace notebook works differently for everyone, but for me, it is a catch-all of everything else that doesn't have its own place. Everything in all my journals is very precise, right? That's why the orbit, right, that's why the orbit works so well, right? So if we had to look at the core versus the orbit, right? The thing that they have in common is that all the journals are extremely focused. So a writing journal, let's say a writing, an everyday, which is the bullet journal, and then my catch-all, all right, catch-all, which is the commonplace, versus the orbit, which are ones that I don't use every day, but they're still very specific, right? For example, a reading journal, a quotes journal, a book annotations journal, book annotate. So you can see that if I didn't have this catch-all commonplace notebook, I really wouldn't have space to put it anywhere else. So since starting this one in 2024, it's made a really, really big difference to my journal system as a whole. Currently, what works in the orbit are these three journals. So these three journals I use quite a lot, starting with the book annotations. So currently I'm going through my nonfiction books. You can see that I did it on originally this paper and I didn't like it, so I'm just transferring it to this book. You can see it's relatively new, but I'm really enjoying it. Any book annotating for nonfiction books that I can study a bit better are going into this one. My baby, my reading journal. Although the cover is not very pretty, it's a very functional book, and I'll make a video on YouTube about it later. But basically, this is a reading journal which keeps the stats and figures and all the different things that I want to keep note of for my reading every year, with goals and reviews and all that kind of stuff. And because I'm a huge reader, I use this book relatively often. You can see a whole bunch of things that I track, and I need this book also, as you can see, on a semi-regular basis. But I wouldn't really call it my core because I can live without this book. Whereas these books here, they are my second body. Finally, just as an added extra, this is my quotes book. And whenever I come into Instagram or TikTok or Facebook and I see some like really cool quotes, I just write them all down here. And you can see I've been doing it for quite a while. I usually just save them as screenshots on my phone. And then when I have a free time, maybe once or twice a year, I just put them into this book so that I can refer to them for a future day. But I've been doing stuff like this of collecting quotes since I was about 16, even though I don't have those original quotes anymore, which is sad, but that's life. So that's it. So just a reminder on how it works. Okay, it's a bit dirty, but that's neither here nor there. The core orbit system, right? So who you are as a person, right? This represents you, right? Okay, so heart, head, and soul, and your extra journals that work in orbit to help create the system that represents you. And that's how it works. And that's it for today, guys. So, journaling is a huge part of my person, not only my personality, but how I represent myself as a being. It is a very much part of my intentional journey, and I couldn't function without them. But if you have any more questions about my journal system, the core orbit system, let me know and I'll help you out. Otherwise, I hope that you find a journal system that works for you. Until next time, bye.